Upcoming American supernatural horror movie, The Third Parent. It is based on the same title creepypasta tale.
The Third Parent is a chilling horror story built around one of the most unsettling ideas imaginable: the fear of something unnatural entering the safety of a family home and quietly replacing the people you love. The film centers on a young boy whose life begins to change in subtle but disturbing ways after his parents bring home a mysterious figure they refer to as a new member of the family. At first, the situation seems confusing rather than terrifying, as the child struggles to understand why his parents are suddenly behaving differently and why they insist that this stranger is someone he should trust. The atmosphere of the story is deeply rooted in psychological horror rather than loud or obvious scares. Instead of relying on sudden shocks, the film slowly builds dread through quiet moments, strange conversations, and the gradual realization that something is fundamentally wrong. The house, once a place of warmth and security, begins to feel suffocating and unfamiliar. Everyday routines become unsettling as the boy notices small changes in his parents' behavior, their voices lacking the warmth they once had and their smiles appearing forced or unnatural. The mysterious figure known as the Third Parent is not introduced as an obvious monster. Instead, the character appears calm, polite, and almost overly attentive, which makes their presence even more disturbing. They seem to know things about the family that they should not know, and they quickly begin to insert themselves into family activities, taking on roles that should belong to the child's real parents. This gradual replacement is presented in a way that blurs the line between reality and paranoia, leaving both the child and the audience unsure of what is truly happening. As days pass, the boy starts to notice that his real parents are becoming more distant, both emotionally and physically. They begin to agree with everything the third parent says, rarely contradicting them and often looking to them for approval. This shift in authority within the household creates a power imbalance that isolates the child, making him feel like an outsider in his own home. The sense of betrayal he feels is amplified by the fact that the people he trusted most now seem to be ignoring his fears and concerns. The film uses the child's perspective to heighten the sense of helplessness. Because he is young, adults around him dismiss his worries as imagination or jealousy, which prevents him from finding support outside the house. Teachers, neighbors, and other relatives see nothing unusual, as the third parent presents a perfectly normal and charming exterior to the outside world. This contrast between public normality and private terror adds to the psychological tension, making it clear that the threat is not only physical but also deeply manipulative. Strange rules begin to appear in the household, introduced by the third parent under the guise of creating structure and discipline. The boy is told to follow new routines, eat different foods, and avoid certain areas of the house at specific times. These rules feel arbitrary and controlling, yet his parents enforce them strictly, showing little empathy when he questions them. The home gradually transforms from a place of comfort into a controlled environment where the child's autonomy is stripped away. Piece by piece, nighttime sequences play a crucial role in the film's horror. As the boy starts hearing whispers, footsteps, and quiet conversations when he is supposed to be asleep, he catches glimpses of the third parent moving silently through the dark hallways, sometimes standing outside his bedroom door or watching him from the shadows. These moments are filmed in a way that keeps the creature's true nature partially hidden, allowing the audience's imagination to fill in the gaps and making the fear more personal and intense. As the story progresses, the boy begins to suspect that the third parent is not just influencing his family, but is actively replacing them. He notices physical differences, such as small changes in his parents' expressions, posture, or the way they speak. They start to forget personal memories and family traditions that once meant a lot to them, which convinces him that something has taken control of their bodies or minds. This realization marks a turning point in the narrative, shifting the story from confusion to desperate survival. The film explores themes of identity and belonging, asking what truly defines a family. Is it shared memories, emotional bonds, or simply living under the same roof? The third parent attempts to reshape the family according to their own twisted idea of perfection, presenting themselves as someone who can fix what they claim was always broken. They speak in calm and reassuring tones, insisting that they are only trying to help and that the child will eventually understand that this new arrangement is better for everyone. The boy's attempts to seek help become more frantic as he tries to gather evidence of what is happening inside the house. He secretly records conversations, writes down strange incidents, and searches for information about similar cases. However, every time he comes close to exposing the truth, the third parent seems to anticipate his actions and subtly undermines him. His parents begin to accuse him of lying or acting out, further isolating him and making others doubt his credibility. Visually, the film uses tight camera angles and dim lighting to create a claustrophobic feeling, reinforcing the idea that the boy has nowhere to escape. The house's layout becomes increasingly confusing, with doors that seem to lead to unfamiliar rooms and hallways that appear longer or darker than they should be. These spatial distortions suggest that the third parent's influence is not limited to people but is also warping the environment itself, turning the home into a labyrinth designed to trap its inhabitants. As the third parent gains more control, their behavior becomes less subtle. They begin to drop their friendly facade when alone with the boy, speaking to him in a colder and more threatening tone. They reveal that they have been watching the family for a long time and chose them specifically because of their vulnerabilities and emotional weaknesses. This revelation transforms the horror from something ambiguous into a calculated invasion, where the family was targeted and manipulated long before the boy realized anything was wrong. The climax of the film builds around the boy's decision to confront the third parent directly. Realizing that no one else will believe him or save him, he gathers the courage to challenge the creature and attempt to break its hold over his parents. This confrontation is filled with tension as the third parent uses psychological tactics to try to break his spirit, reminding him of his fears, insecurities, and the possibility that he might be wrong about everything. The emotional stakes are high, as the boy risks losing the last connection he has to his real parents if his attempt fails during the final sequence. The truth about the third parent's nature becomes clearer, though the film avoids fully explaining where they came from or how they operate. This ambiguity keeps the horror lingering, suggesting that such entities could exist anywhere, waiting for the right moment to insert themselves into another unsuspecting family. The boy's actions force a temporary break in the creature's control, leading to a chaotic and frightening struggle that leaves the house in disarray and the family shaken. In the aftermath, the boy's parents slowly begin to regain their awareness, but they are left with fragmented memories and a deep sense of guilt for not recognizing what was happening sooner. The family dynamic is forever changed as trust has been damaged and the home no longer feels entirely safe. Even though the third parent is no longer visibly present, subtle hints suggest that their influence may not be completely gone, leaving the story with an unsettling and lingering sense of unease. The ending focuses on the boy's emotional state as he tries to return to a normal life while carrying the trauma of what he experienced. He becomes more withdrawn and cautious, constantly watching for signs that something similar might happen again. His parents attempt to reassure him and rebuild their relationship, but the shared experience has created a silent barrier between them. The film closes on a quiet but haunting note, implying that while the immediate danger has passed, the psychological scars will remain, and the possibility of the third parent's return can never be entirely ruled out.